to the Main Event podcast. It has inadvertently once again been a while, but we're back. I'm Jez. That's Dan, depending on where you're watching. How the hell are you, Dan?
I'm alright, but I look a bit frozen, I think.
You do, yeah. You look like you're a Disney movie starring a Hans Christian Andersen story.
I don't know why I'm frozen.
Yeah, you might just need to turn it off and turn it back on again, basically. Like, exit and come back in, and we'll see if that works. It's a great way to start the show, but...
I'll be back in a minute.
Yeah, well, you'll still be there for us the entire time. We'll just... Oh, no, he's gone. I thought we were going to stare at his frozen face for the entire time, but as soon as he comes back in, we will get going. Welcome back to the Main Event podcast. Apologies for the few weeks of absence after we'd only just come back, but as you might have been able to tell from Dan's frozen location, he is in a new location. He's moved house. I'm preparing to move house. My house is on the market, and we're looking to move soon. So it's been a bit of a chaotic couple of weeks, but we are still here. We are still talking wrestling, and we will proceed to do so just as soon as Dan can get back in the room. Did rather expect him to have been back in by now, but he is not there yet. So we'll give him a few moments to come back in. And then, to be honest, we'll probably start this show again, just to make that work. So I'm going to put you back on the starting soon, and we'll be back shortly. To the Main Event podcast. We had a few technical difficulties in our first attempt at this show, but we are here. We are not frozen. We're not going to break into song and start letting it go and things like that.
Let it go.
I said we won't. We won't, Dan. We won't. I'm Jez. I'm with Dan as usual. Welcome back.
Not
Apologies
frozen.
For our absence again for the last couple of weeks. It's been a bit of a fun few weeks for the both of us. You especially. I've still got all the same fun to come. Would you like to explain why you didn't have access to doing this show for the last couple of weeks?
Well, because I've moved house and we had to sort out the internet. So I didn't have internet, but I do now. And the best thing is I can plug the router straight into the computer. So I was thinking pretty good internet until I froze.
I was going to say, yeah, it's made such a difference so far, hasn't it? In the first instance, it's fallen down and you froze. But I don't think that was an internet issue. I have no idea what that was about, but it doesn't matter. We're here now.
We're here now.
And as a result, it's been a couple of weeks, and we've got lots of things to discuss. And I think we're back at the right time, being as there haven't been really that many like big events, main events, if you will, in the last few weeks. And we're heading into a period where we've got two pretty big ones from WWE and AEW. So as well as WWE moving networks around and things like that. So lots to talk about. And I've got some graphics this week. You know, I threatened it last time, and we're ready to go. Shall we get into our first topic?
Let's get into it.
Okay, so here is a picture of Swerve Strickland with a needle in his face, because we begin discussions today with AEW All Out from a few weeks ago. Many in the internet wrestling community have complained about the level of violence present during the event, most notably during the Willow Nightingale-Chris Statlander match, as well as the AEW Championship match, and, of course, the Lights Out match.
Yeah, that one.
Do you think the violence that was presented at All Out was excessive?
I think AEW, they've always been a bit more violent than other companies.
Mm-hmm.
The Willow Nightingale, yeah, I kind of was like, yeah, that's AEW. But the Lights Out match, I think most of it was, again, it's AEW. The Tranquilizer, I'm guessing it was a tranquilizer.
Who knows what it was, man?
Yeah, who knows what it was, but I mean, it seemed to work. Don't know if that was going too far. Maybe. I was like, yeah, okay.
I think the only thing that I had issue with was the needle in the mouth, because I mean it goes too far even for what would be acceptable in a street fight or like a fight to the death. It's like, you don't trank a guy, that's cheating in any measure. But it didn't offend me or anything. I'm just like, no, there were probably better ways of achieving that. And the chair shot directly to the head definitely did the job.
Yeah,
and that's frowned upon these days because of the obvious history of Benoit and all of the concussions and all of that kind of thing. But I don't think it was excessive. I think it's obviously different to what a lot of people are used to in modern professional wrestling. But it's weird that the same people that were complaining that All Out was too violent are the same people that are calling for the return of the Attitude Era. I'm like, did you watch the Attitude Era? Were you there? Like,
that was
this was
rough.
pretty much the norm, And
it was rough.
In terms of the Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander stuff, I just saw that as equality, catching up. How many times have we had barbed wire bats to the balls and things, various attacks on the manhood directly during no holds barred hardcore type matches? I'm like, if they want to take some pin tacks to the crotch, then whatever, man. I
do it, man.
I still feel like that's pretty tame. And if you're offended by that because it's women, then you're the sexist, bro.
Then
they're allowed to do as much as the men do, and the men have been hitting each other below the belt with foreign objects for all of professional wrestling history. So I don't think it was too violent. Is it a problem for some people? Yes, it is. Some people are going to say, well, I'm not going to watch this company, it's too violent for me. From my point of view, I know that I can't watch AEW while my child is around, because it could break into this kind of violence at any point, and I want to protect my daughter from that. But I think they haven't tried to hide what they are.
No.
So,
but it's you talking about your daughter. That's exactly like me with my nephews. They started watching wrestling about a year ago, and because I got them into it, and they like to watch wrestling when they can. They love WWE, obviously, but obviously AEW in the UK, you can watch it on. I think it's Channel 4 or Channel 5 or
and
one of them. ITV, yeah. So they just came across it one day, and their mum said to me, they watched this wrestling the other day, and it was a bit violent. It's not WWE, is it? I was like, was it AEW? And she was like, yes. I was like, don't let them watch that.
Yeah.
It's a bit too violent, and they will swear their heads off, and they don't care. And she was like, right, okay.
And you may have to apply that warning to Raw when it moves to Netflix, because it sounds like they're going to lower the bar, raise the bar. I'm not sure. They're going to do something with the bar, probably cover it in barbed wire. But yeah, it's going to be a thing. And it's a contact sport. It was
Yeah.
always supposed to be a violent sport. It's gone
Yeah.
through its periods of cartooniness.
Yeah.
It's been in that period of cartooniness for the last 20 years. So
Yeah.
I'm good
Yeah.
for a period of reality for
Yeah.
a little while, personally.
Mm.
Yeah. Watcher Tamzanaki, welcome in
Hi there,
to
Tamsin.
the stream. Happy streamiversary. I'm not aware of any
Is it Streamiversary?
streamiversary that we're on. It's certainly not
It's
my
not ours, is it?
Twitch streamiversary, because that was August.
No.
Unless, I just haven't used my Twitch enough since August, and so Twitch are like, "Oh, you forgot. You haven't done a thing." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not going to do a thing because I don't use you very much anymore." But
Don't use you, boy.
yeah, it's not quite the anniversary of this show. I mean, it's our 201st episode now, so that's less special. But I mean, it's bigger than 200, so I guess that's kind of special. But yeah, I thought the notification said something anniversary-ish. Oh, I don't know what the notification said. I forgot to look at Twitch and what that said. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, it probably still says about the 200th episode. That's my bad. I'm gonna change that and leave it generic. I do that every week.
Yeah, you seem to mess up, don't you?
Yeah, returns with its 200th episode. Yeah, that's not right.
Yeah, no, that's you got that wrong.
That would be a milestone, Tamsin. I can see why you came in and congratulated us. That's not what's happening here. I'm just going to change it to a generic. We are live, and then no matter what I do on this channel, that will be accurate.
There you go.
Happy 200th for several episodes ago. Thank you. Yes, yeah.
Thank you, Tamsin.
We had planned on 201 being the week after, but Dan rudely decided to move house. So
yeah, how dare I?
That put a damper on things. Really, there was something about not being able to communicate with me because he had no internet, which sounded like an excuse, to be honest. I'm like, look, mate, if you don't want to talk to me, just say so. Like,
no, I just don't like talking to you, mate.
I'm a big boy. I can handle it. There's no need to lie.
You're just
like, the only reason he moved house is so that he could be without me for 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
I can't stand you, mate.
Well, what are you going to do now? You're in your house. You got internet. You're stuck again. Loser.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on. Speaking of reductions of things, it was announced a few weeks ago that WWE Monday Night Raw will be reduced to 3 hours from 3 hours to 2, starting the night after Bad Blood.
Yeah.
Is that a good move for Raw, or was it finally earning that extra hour that we've been wanting to get rid of for years?
I do kind of think it was kind of earning the extra hour a little bit. Not much, a little bit.
Yeah.
But, I'm happy for 2 hours. It means they don't string things out and put random things in. And yeah, I can see why they've done it, because they're getting ready for Netflix, aren't they? So,
well, it wasn't their decision. Apparently, it's a USA Network decision. And obviously, we're in the period now where Raw is on USA Network outside of contract, because the contract ran out at the end of August.
Yeah,
they don't go on to Netflix till January, and so USA Network said, "Well, you can hang around until January if you want." But being that they got rid of NXT on USA, they've now got SmackDown on USA. The prevailing rumor is that come January, when SmackDown is the only thing on the USA Network, that will move to 3 hours. So the 3 hour
all moves to Netflix
eventually, yes, but Americans are years away from that, and that's what it'll be like for us, and pretty much the rest of the world come January. Everything will be on Netflix for us, but
which I'll be down for that.
Absolutely, yeah. And the other rumor about Raw on Netflix is that it will still be 2 hours, but it will be 2 hours commercial free. So basically, all you're losing out on there compared to a 3 hour Raw with commercials is 15 minutes.
Yeah,
because when you watch without the commercials, it's 2 hours and 15 minutes. I hope that's a true rumor. 2 hours straight through, I think, is a good amount of time.
Yeah.
2 hours with commercials is going to be about an hour and 35 minutes. Old school, WWE Raw. I never liked 3 hours of Raw. I felt like it was too much, and that's not just because when I want to watch it live, I don't want to be up until 4 a.m. I'd much rather only be up until like 3.
Yeah.
But I do think of recent it had started to earn its stripes a little bit. They've certainly geared the rosters to the point that Raw is 3 hours and SmackDown is 2 hours, and they've put more talent on Raw to fill that time.
Yeah.
Have they used them historically better? No, I don't think so. I think really you're kind of presenting the same show on Raw and SmackDown. It just there's a bit more filler on Raw, to be honest with you. So I hope that pushing it back to 2 hours for a few months is going to force them to really consider what they're presenting on television. Apparently they're going to get the first half an hour commercial free quite regularly and use the picture-in-picture aspect a bit more.
That would be good.
I do like the picture-in-picture thing.
Yeah, I do as well.
I like the idea that the match is continuing and you're not missing any of it. And you've got to pay the bills. You need commercials, fine. But you can definitely show us what's going on in a small box in the corner while you try and sell us, washing powder or whatever it is you're selling. Usually food,
something,
and all kinds of things. But you got takeoff in your house there, have you, or something?
Yeah, that's a helicopter going over.
Oh. I mean, you kind of got in trouble that quickly. They can't be bursting in through your door this early.
You wait. You wait. That door behind me is going to go through.
I mean, I don't want to, jinx it, but you have got the kind of office where all of those videos of like, a child coming in and being like, and running away again have all happened. It's like that door right behind you is ripe for someone to just go, oh, sorry, walk in Starkers or something.
I wouldn't surprise me if my girlfriend did that, just to be annoying. She probably can hear me talking about that now.
Well, I'm sure she's an avid fan of the podcast and is probably watching live, and that will be her cue to come on in and wind you up. But
although her brother does watch.
There you go. Well, I'm sure he's got a phone and can message her and say, "Oh, you go and poke down in the back of the head while he's live or something."
Hi, Simon.
That'll be entertaining. Any final thoughts on Raw back to 2 hours or any of the other timings of WWE shows at the moment?
No, not really.
Yeah, it worked for years.
Yeah. You were talking about people breaking in.
And just things are falling over.
Clearly your house is just haunted.
Yeah. I don't know how much of that came through the microphone with the like filters on it and stuff, but
jeez, I heard that.
Yeah. Why the fuck did it do that? I'll be right back. I'm just gonna put the lights back in place and
bear with everyone.
And then we'll move on to our third topic. Yeah, weird.
Yeah, bear with everyone. Thank you, Tamsin, for saying about happy new house. Me and my girlfriend has finally moved in together. So it's nice. Oh, look at him. You can see the light moving and you can see his shadow. Just don't do any naked dances behind there.
Do.
I was highly expecting just your leg to come around the corner there.
Yeah. Don't know why it did that. It was literally just resting on top of something and it leaped off. So
your house is haunted. Good job you're moving.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of haunted and the supernatural, the Wyatt Sick6 have had a big win on Raw a few weeks ago, but have since returned to sharing cryptic messages and not being on television. So I think they've been around long enough now that we can take stock. Is this group working out? Should they be on TV more? Should they just get rid of them? What do you think?
They should be on TV more, my opinion. It's a fantastic group. I am all there for it. I think so are you.
Yes.
And we need to see more of them, quite frankly, and they need to do more. They need to be in more matches. You need to do more stuff. Definitely. I love what they did with American Made, where they basically tormented Chad Gable and they basically destroyed them. And Nikki Cross was just back to her old self, which I was so happy about. But we need to see more. And now, as you said, they're back to doing cryptic messages.
Yeah, and I tried not to let it wind me up, but it is winding me up. They're doing the cryptic messages in like VHS form. It looks like an old VHS video. But then they put a QR code up. I'm like, pick your tech, man. Are you working in the 90s or are you working in the modern day? Because we didn't have QR codes on videotapes. I'm just throwing it out there. And yeah, I just don't understand why they're mixing these things together.
Yeah.
I think the cryptic messages were a good way of leading up to what happened.
I do as well.
Bringing them onto television, you know, tormenting Chad Gable, as you said, all of that. But the time has come now where they just integrate into the roster, and you know, some of them are going for tag titles. You know, you've got Uncle Howdy moving on to torment someone else. I think there's a lot of potential unfinished business across WWE that Uncle Howdy can be dealing with you know, people who have faced Bray Wyatt or The Fiend in the past. I don't like the idea of them being confined to Raw. Like, I don't like the idea of them being confined at all. You know, why acknowledge that they're WWE superstars at all? They shouldn't be on like the roster page on WWE.com or anything like that. It should just be, no, they're not signed to WWE. We let them go a long time ago. But they're here, and are you going to stop them? Because none of us can. So, you know, we'll put them in matches when they want to be in matches, and otherwise, you guys are on your own. We can't do anything about it. How do you fight the supernatural? You can't. So just deal with it as best you can. I don't think the breaks away from television are helping them very much. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And even during that rivalry with Chad Gable and then American Made after that, when they would just not be there certain weeks, I'm like, it just doesn't make sense. If they're there to, you know, take revenge on Chad Gable for abandoning his family, you've got to follow up on that 24/7, not just, oh yeah, they couldn't be bothered this week, all 5 of them. They went to Starbucks instead or something. It breaks the illusion.
Got caught, didn't they? Yeah, they got fans going to some coffee shop, didn't they?
Immediately after their debut, yes, they left the arena after their debut, where they decimated everyone and, you know, supposedly left Chad Gable with a gunshot wound to the head, and then they were pictured having Starbucks and taking photos with people. I'm like,
we're actually really friendly.
I know kayfabe died a long time ago, but could we at least, you know,
try with these guys,
keep it on life support a little bit?
Yeah,
you know, there are some groups that kayfabe is essential for,
and this is one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys should be locked away at all times when they're not on television. So, but I do think it is working. There is a risk that they are going to ruin it, but this is WWE we're talking about, and that's a risk with absolutely everybody from the bottom to the top. So we shall see how it goes over time. Well, something that has worked in WWE a lot in the last few months, again, could potentially have hit a bit of a roadblock, but I think it will survive. A replica CM Punk friendship bracelet, as seen during the heated rivalry with Drew McIntyre, was briefly put up on sale on WWE Shop a few weeks ago. The listing was very quickly taken down when the creator of the original bracelet took to social media claiming that she had not been informed that they would be making replicas. A modified version of the bracelet, simply with CM Punk's name on it instead of AJ and Larry, is now available once again for purchase on WWE Shop. Should the original creator have been informed, should she be financially rewarded for her part in one of the hottest storylines of the year?
Yes to both.
Do you think so?
Yes, she should have been informed that they were going to obviously make a replica of it, because I'm guessing if she's like properly said, look, it's my thing, I'm guessing she might have done some sort of pattern on it or something. Because I mean, if you did and you see WWE saying, are you going to sue the WWE? No, you're not, because they will win no matter what. And I think it's fair enough for her to put it on social media that, hey, that's my bracelet. WWE kind of went, oh shit.
Yeah.
You know.
See, this is one of the rare occasions where you and I disagree on this kind of thing. I'm like, no, I don't think that she needed to be involved in this whatsoever. Like, it's a friendship bracelet at the end of the day, and she isn't the original creator of friendship bracelets. She made one friendship bracelet for CM Punk to give him at Comic-Con because she likes CM Punk. Fair enough. Kudos to her, you know? And the fact that that was used in a storyline and has become a fairly integral part of the storyline, you know, we joked a few weeks ago that the two hottest things in WWE at the moment are a bracelet and an Ula Fala, like are more over than most of the superstars on the roster. But at the end of the day, it's a friendship bracelet. They have been thrust back into popularity recently, not by CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, but by Taylor Swift.
I'm saying it's more CM Punk and Drew McIntyre.
I'm sure you are, yes, but you know, at the end of the day, it cost her pennies to make. It was a gesture that she gave to CM Punk. I think
a very nice gesture.
The reward comes from the fact that it was used in a storyline. They did, you know, mention her by name in the story and say that, you know, he got it from a fan at Comic-Con and this was her. But beyond that, like, no. On the other side of that, I don't think they should have sold a bracelet at all. I think that's just a pointless
it's not,
piece of cash grab merch. Like,
it's not great from WWE, is it? I don't think
it's bad, but it's just a pointless thing. And if you are a person that's like, oh yeah, I'm going to buy a CM Punk friendship bracelet from WWE shop, then I think you just need to take a good hard look at yourself and think about what you're doing, and
realize you've got too much money. Because go make one and it'll be cheaper.
They made the point on television that this was like a 75-cent thing to make, and they're selling them for $9.99.
$9, so $10 effectively.
$10. They're selling them for $10 plus shipping.
In WWE shop, there's going to be hell of a shipping.
Yeah, shipping, and depending where you live,
$15.
Yeah, well, depending where you live as well, you're going to have to pay sales tax on it. So, you know, varying anything from 1% up to 20%. So
you could easily make it for less than $1 probably,
or not be lame and just not bother.
Yeah. Why do you not want a friendship bracelet?
No, I'm not really a jewelry guy, to be honest.
Oh, well, that's your Christmas present out the window then.
Yeah, it's fine. You'll just move house and try and hide again. So yeah, but no, I don't think she was owed anything personally, and she needs to shut her mouth.
Fair enough.
I said it.
You say it, man. Yeah. You say it.
I said it.
Well done.
Well, you know, saying things is certainly an excellent segue into our next topic. The Mr. McMahon documentary, in the works since 2021, has finally hit Netflix this week. In this limited series, Vince McMahon and others have made several questionable and ill-informed statements. It is also noted that McMahon stopped participating in the series after the worst of his allegations came to light.
Surprise, surprise.
Have you watched any of the series? What do you think of it? Should it have been released before the case against him has gone to trial? Let's hash this out.
I haven't watched it yet. Unfortunately, I really want to watch it. And I think, yes, it should have gone out now, because then Netflix would be raking it in with people watching it.
Yeah, fair point. Yeah.
Thinking it from like Netflix's point of view, from Mr. McMahon's point of view, no, it shouldn't have come out.
I mean, I've watched about 2.5 episodes of it so far, and you know, I don't think it will be a surprise to you that, you know, as somebody who has been very into professional wrestling for many years, I've learned very little new from it, and even hearing some of the things Vince McMahon says in it, I'm like, yeah, he's not really at any point hidden the guy that he is. This is who he is. He's always, frankly, been an asshole. But
yeah, he knows who he is, and
and he's very sure of himself.
That's it.
You know, it did make me think less of his father, if I'm honest. I lost a lot of respect for Vince McMahon Senior. Didn't know a huge amount about him, but you know, I've got no love for that guy now. And I've learned a few things about some early transgressions, shall we say, from Vince McMahon. But he's right there answering them.
Yeah.
You know, he's right there saying, yeah, you know, that part of that's true. Yes, I did this. No, I didn't do that. That part's not true. And, you know, I don't know what to believe as it comes out of his mouth. Obviously, it doesn't help that there are several new allegations against him now, most of which are, you know, coming with evidence and with corroboration. So they're very hard to argue. But also, I don't think it's going to make me think any differently of the man. I've always been under no illusion that the guy's a dick. Like, but if you didn't know that and you now know he's a dick, then I'm sorry you've been living under a rock so long, because this has not been a hidden thing.
No,
it has not been a hidden thing. And obviously,
that guy who portrays on TV is actually him.
Much like most professional wrestlers, you know, they say the best wrestling characters are the person themselves turned up to 11.
Yeah.
So, you know, while the Mr. McMahon character is a, you know, gross exaggeration of
it's still him.
Of him, it's still him in there. And at the end of the day, all of the ideas, all of the weird and wacky nonsense storylines that have come out of WWE in the last 30 years, longer even, have all been run by him or modified by him. So it is what it is, really. But it's a very good documentary so far, and I have been enjoying it. I've mostly for the random other people piping up and saying things like, you know, Bret Hart's his usual egotistical self, and I'm like, all right, Bret, get whatever, back in your corner.
Go back to Canada.
Yeah, wrestling died the day that you were screwed over. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
but yeah, Goldberg's a horrible man. Yeah, get in the corner, Bret. Just over.
Yeah, just. Go there.
No, Bret. We heard you. Thanks. Back in the corner.
We heard you.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but, you know, other than that, yeah, I'm 2.5 episodes in. I'm at the Montreal screw job. So we'll see if it gets juicy from there.
I'm looking forward to watching it. So
yeah, you absolutely should. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And another series that you should watch if you haven't already is Who Killed WCW, which came out this year, made by Vice, who also make the Dark Side of the Ring series. That's a very good one as well.
I'll watch that as well.
To look at some of these things from, you know, the competition's perspective.
Yeah,
a lot of fun. Yeah. Any other thoughts on McMahon? Suppose not, if you haven't seen it yet.
No.
It's difficult to do that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, on to our penultimate topic for the day then. WWE NXT will broadcast its first show on the CW network next Tuesday, live from Chicago, with several special guests from the main roster, by which we mean Raw and SmackDown, not the former name of this podcast. And Unfortunately, though, WWE have failed to sell enough tickets for their show the following week in St. Louis and have since decided to move the show to a smaller venue in the suburbs. So we're basically just chatting NXT now. Will it thrive on a new network? What does the brand need to do to survive or reach the same level of interest that it had during the black and gold era? Is this the last time that NXT moves before it dies? What do we think?
I'm not sure. You kicked this one off.
I was very disappointed to hear that they couldn't sell out the arena in St. Louis. I've been very vocal on this podcast in the last 2-3 years about how NXT has just gone into the toilet, straight down. And the pandemic had some part in that, but I think the change in regime that took place over the same period really played a massive part in that. The talent is still coming through there. The talent is still coming out of there and going up to the main roster. Not quite at the same rate or level as it used to, but the talent definitely still exists. There isn't a lack of talent in NXT. That is not the problem. It's getting better, but the booking, the general organization, the look and feel of NXT has been wrong for quite some time.
Yeah.
Even since they ditched the garish, colourful 2.0
the 2.0 era.
You know, they've moved back to white and gold now rather than
black
it's
white and gold, which is fine.
It's fine, yeah, it looks okay. But black and gold wasn't so much about the colour scheme. It was about an ethos, an attitude, that underground grunge type feel that NXT had, where you would tune in to watch NXT every week because you literally did not know who would show up at any given time. Whereas now, you know who's going to show up. It's some ex-college athlete who's been on NXT Level Up for the past few weeks. There are no surprises, really, other than, you know, in the last few months, people coming from TNA, you know, that's been some fairly decent surprises. You know, Ethan Page turning up, that was good too. But, you know, things like Ethan Page's debut were the norm for the old NXT. Just people turning up, excitement from bringing people in from all around the world. You know, random people turning up from the main roster again to come and spend a few months down there, and it's lost that must-see excitement. And I watched NXT this week, which was their final one on USA Network, and they had all of the fake press conference nonsense, and they're trying to be different from the main roster, and that's good, but I would suggest you try to be different from the main roster better, really. I didn't have a problem with the idea of the press conferences thing, but considering WWE do a press conference after each, you know, premium live event, and they didn't resemble anything like those actual press conferences, it just looked hokey and fake and unbelievable, really. I'm really, really strongly against Booker T as a commentator on NXT.
Yeah, we know that.
He spends more time putting himself over than he does anybody on that roster, except for Trick Williams, maybe, and Roxanne Perez. He's not helping anybody get over.
Do you want to know something? That a fan of videos, what Booker T was doing while they were filming NXT one day? Do you want to have a guess what he was doing? Something on his phone, shall we say? Do you want to have a guess what he was doing?
Texting his wife.
Nope.
What?
He was ordering DoorDash.
To the arena or to his home afterwards?
I have no idea where, but he was ordering it. So that shows how interested he is. that midway through he's ordering DoorDash.
I just don't understand how this guy has a job. Like, I know he's got his own wrestling school and he's produced a few good people, you know, Ember Moon and Roxanne Perez, and although they didn't work out, you know, Devon Dudley's kids,
Yeah.
you know, they were decent until they decided that they weren't really interested anymore.
Yeah.
As a commentator, bad.
Yeah,
I just don't understand why he's still there. You know, it's going to be interesting to see how things get shaken up by Pat McAfee coming back in January, whether Wade Barrett still stays on Raw with them or not, or whether he's just shipped back to NXT. I wouldn't be against that, because I think Wade Barrett is actually, he's not a perfect color commentator, but he's really coming into his own week on week.
He's doing better and he's getting better.
Yeah. I feel like he has worked a lot better with Joe Tessitore the last couple of weeks after we spoke about how dry both of them were in that first week. But there's a lot of work to do to make NXT fun again. Yeah. And it was the edgy brand. It was the brand that you went to see the wrestling, because you couldn't get that on Raw and SmackDown. It was the brand you went to see the guys that had toiled on the independents for years and would never ever get a look in on the main roster. Now it's just main roster light, featuring Booker T saying nonsense, and they need to get a bit more of that angst back. And I think the CW network is the best place to do that. It's a network tailored for teens and young adults. So if you can't bring back that kind of teenage whatever mentality on the CW, then you never will, and it will go under, and they'll have to do something else. But
one thing I will say, it was good to see Funaki.
Yes, I think we're going to see Funaki quite a lot in the coming months, weeks, years, because of Julia. Yeah. And you know, that Julia and Steph Fucker stuff, that was cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
You know, it's difficult, obviously, because neither of them speak English particularly well, but they've certainly got that star power that has been lacking from NXT for quite some time. Yeah. Like, they just need to give me Josh Alexander versus Ethan Page in a long, drawn-out story, and I'll be happy there. Like, I don't know if Josh Alexander is like, nah, mate, I don't want to work with NXT, but
probably.
Or whether WWE don't see anything in him, I don't know. But I mean, they brought Hammerstone over. It's basically Josh Alexander that's been pumped up with a
steroids.
Well, I didn't want to say it. I was going to say, like, you know, an air pump, but I guess steroids is one way of saying it. Yeah. And finally, our last topic of the day, one that I expect you're excited about. I know that I am. Jey Uso finally won the Intercontinental Championship on Raw, bringing to an end the brief reign of Bron Breakker. Did this win hit the mark for you? Is it too little too late? Does it being so short a reign hurt Bron Breakker? What do you think?
I don't think it hurts Bron Breakker, because I think he is a superstar in the making anyway. I think it's a good time for Jey. He's pretty much at the peak of his fan base cheering for him and all that. You know, he's got a lot going for him at the moment. I hope he does hold it for longer than like a month. That's what I'm worried about, that they might do like a thing at Bad Blood where Bron gets it back, which I'm just like, please don't, because Jey's earned this. He deserves this. He's, as you said, he's been in WWE for 14 years, you know, and he's never held a singles title. He's just held tag title with his brother or other people, Cody Rhodes, and he deserves it. Good on you. Keep it.
Yeah, I'm very much in agreement with you. I don't think that the brief reign hurts Bron Breakker, because, especially in the last few months, but pretty much the entire time he's been up on the main roster, he has been presented as this overconfident, cocky guy that has been able to back it all up.
Yeah.
And he needed to be kind of humbled a little bit, because of all the people that would beat Bron Breakker, you wouldn't expect it to be Jey Uso. You'd expect it to be, somebody who matches him in kind of size and stature. So I think he got a bit overconfident with Jey Uso, and that came back to bite him. And they can use that as a story going forward. Does that mean that they might put it back on him again in a few weeks? Maybe. I too hope that isn't the case. I would quite like it to be a rematch at Bad Blood and Jey Uso beat him again.
Yeah, I'll be very happy for that if Jay's going to win.
Yeah.
But if Braun gets it back, I'm going to be a bit like, really?
If he loses the title quickly, then it's no different from him not really having it at all, in my book.
Exactly.
And, yes, it took a long time for him to win a singles championship. He had loads of shots at various singles championships over the last couple of years, and we were wondering if it was ever going to happen, and it has finally happened. So now they need to tread very carefully, or they risk undoing it, ruining it, and having the fans turn on him, really. So that's certainly not something that I want to see.
No.
It made the teenager in me very happy to see Jey Uso win the Intercontinental Championship, as someone who, in one of the first Intercontinental Championship reigns that I saw his dad win the Intercontinental Championship. And I thought Rikishi, as much as he's nowadays resigned himself to chatting absolute nonsense on the internet, I thought that Rikishi was a great Intercontinental champion. And still to this day, Rikishi versus Val Venus for the Intercontinental Championship, when Rikishi jumped off the cage, like, it still resonates to me. I still really enjoyed that match, and that's a match with Val Venus in it, and I hate that guy. So that tells you how much that his Intercontinental Championship reign meant to me. But have Jey Uso open challenge, beat a bunch of people, be in the main event with this championship, and hold it for quite some time. Not Gunther levels, but
no,
I would say keep it at least until next year, Royal Rumble time. Lose it at the Royal Rumble to someone, so that you can then have some other kind of big story leading up to WrestleMania. Who knows where they're going to go with the bloodline stuff, and whether they're going to get Jey back involved, but I think this is a good stopgap for right this moment. Amel on YouTube, hi.
Hi.
I hope you're not Stephen Amell, because we need you on the screen if you are Stephen Amell, so that we can talk to you. But I loved your work in Arrow, if that is the case. Any other thoughts on Jey Uso, the Intercontinental Championship, Bron Breakker, etc.?
Just WWE do the right decisions.
Yeet.
Yeet.
And on that note, that is our show for today. Thank you very much to everyone that has joined us. We'll be back next week, hopefully. We said that last time, but I think we mean it a bit more now. I'll certainly get more than a week's notice about the fact that I'm moving. So we will be back next week, previewing WWE Bad Blood. And, of course, all of the other news that comes from the wrestling world.
Any shenanigans.
Yeah. We'll probably both have finished the McMahon documentary by then as well, so we can,
I hope so.
We can talk about that in a bit more detail. But I'm sure something else will happen that will come out of it, even if we haven't managed to finish it. So plenty to talk about. And obviously we've got AEW Wrestle Dream coming up in a couple of weeks as well.
Yes, we do.
So start to get ready for that. Until then, I've been Jez.
I've been Dan.
You've been watching or listening to the Main Event Podcast, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.